Coach, pitchers do old school game, a 1-0 game, all the talk about who hitting coaches and offenses, and it's a pitching game. Just give me your overall thoughts.
Well, it's my favorite type of game, right? I think it speaks to the diversity and just of what we can do, how dynamic we are, and what we can do as a team, and who we can match up with at any time, right? So we had a big talk with our pitchers. I think we had some great strikeout numbers in the past 2 days. Today we got our only strikeout of the day in the very last batter, but our walks were down and our pitch count was down. So I like those kind of games, and I love how our pitchers close the weekend off.
Speak to the growth of all your pitchers, especially Caitlin. She just said, she felt that Thursday she let Georgia dictate what she was doing instead of thinking about what she was doing. That was the lesson she learned. And it's growing up. I mean, that's part of it. These people are learning on the fly. You've said it. You're learning on the fly, too, with these two. Just talk about the growth of this pitching staff.
Yeah. I mean, wow. I feel like we've grown together in just, 4 games. And just learning each other, learning each other's tendencies, learning matchups. I think the catchers, our pitchers did well, but our catchers continued to get better. And again, the way I like to play matchups, we have 3 different catchers in there. So I like how each of them are growing a bond together and really helping their pitcher out. But just to see how they're using their defense, they're understanding situations, they're not letting one pitch dictate, their play, recover, play. They're not letting that one pitch dictate the next pitch. And it's just like you said, I mean, Caitlin couldn't have said it any better. She's going to dictate her own momentum and how she's going to approach the game.
Chloe Evans had the only RBI tonight and has had a big performance throughout the weekend. Can you talk a little bit about her offensive performance this week?
Yeah, what I love about Chloe is she came in and did some good stuff in the fall and has done really well, but was never, she said, like, I still have a little bit more. I still could do a little more. So she's been constantly working and focused and watching film and coming in here and working on her own and just really being a team player when it comes to, like, she wanted to lay down a bunt. She can hit a home run, and she wanted to lay down a bunt on her own. Just the fact that she plays that game it speaks volumes to who Chloe is. But she loves big moments. They kind of feel like they're just normal to her, and I think that there's just going to be more to come with that. And I also think it speaks to the players around her, right? So you got Shannon Doherty ahead of her, you have Kennedy Cersei behind her. Everyone's protecting everyone right now, and it's a good feeling.
What was your reaction when you saw that Ohio State runner get thrown out at home?
Well, I loved it because we've been practicing it a lot. In this game, the obstruction call is really big, and so we are sticklers on where our catcher needs to be and how they go down to tag and when they have the ball and all of that stuff. And again, you have 3 different catchers in that game. So for Aubrey, who I think that's maybe her 2nd game catching for us, and really we told her to start catching in December. Big time moment for her. She stayed calm and relaxed and did her thing.
That's a great question, a great point there. Aubrey's now playing the catcher. Carson Fryer, Emerson Lee. Talked about the 3 of them because they're part of this pitching staff. You kind of play by matchups. Talk about those 3 and their growth, because in Aubrey's case, she's learning the position and made one of the biggest plays in the game.
Yeah. Well, I think it just speaks to how hard we work as a team and how much belief we have in each other. But the catcher's job is such a team-first job, right? And so making sure that we're really sticking together and helping each other out, but that it goes back to we're protecting the queen, and that's all they're focused on, is protecting the queen, making the queen look good out there, stealing some strikes for them, and learning the other parts of the game. Like, people think it's just catching the pitcher. No, you're directing traffic of where the ball's supposed to go. You got to focus on firsts and thirds and rundowns, and like there's so many. Oh yeah, I got to cover the bunt, right? Pitcher's throwing 2 balls. I got to go call timeout and go talk to him. There's so many things that a catcher does. And the other thing, everyone's looking at them. They're the only player where everyone's looking at them, and so that's where we told them, it's like, hey guys, you got to act like you've been there, even if you haven't, and you have to stay calm, because if the pitcher sees that, that's awesome. And they've just done such a great job with all of that.
We've had so many great defensive plays over the years. Akira Clarkowski would make a ton of great defensive plays, but I've not seen one made with a shortstop in my 16 years here than the one Jazz made in the 6th inning. So take me from your point of view that play.
Yeah. Well, you just brought me back to memory lane with Kira and all the awesome plays that she would have. I just, when in doubt, throw the rise ball, let Kira run it down. But yeah, Jazz wasn't wasn't satisfied, but she was a little down on herself of how she performed defensively yesterday. I mean, and of course, her bat is doing really, really well, but she wants to be she's here for her defense, right? And the bonuses she can hit. And so she loves shortstop. She lives for it. And so she studied. And I don't know if she talked about it a little bit, but her and her husband were up watching film, and just to see the comeback that she had and some of the plays that she made today. Big time. And without a doubt, when I saw her there, I'm like, yep, I knew she was going to be there. I didn't doubt it for a second. So she's a big time player. She stays composed in those moments, and I think that's what really pushed Caitlin to seal the deal in that 7th inning as well.
We mentioned memory lane. 4 years ago, we were standing here, probably in dirt instead of field turf. And I was asking you about playing Washington, because Washington was coming here and facing Heather as your mentor, and how it was emotional to some extent. You care about Heather, what she's meant to your career, you face it. Well, now you're on the other side of this. You're now the one facing your former assistant, Whitney, on the other side. What was that like to be on the other side there?
Yeah, well, it's fun, right? Because she knows stuff about us, we know stuff about her, and so it's that, okay, who's going to, again, like I said last night, who's going to stay in our own dugout, who's going to focus on us. I think she's done a great job with those hitters. They were tough to get out. They had some. I love oppo gaps, and they had a couple there, and so she's done a really good job with those hitters. They were prepared, and they looked the part going up there to the plate. So, I mean, that's what's huge, right? Really strong, independent, competitive women just rocking it in our sport. So I couldn't be more happy and more proud for her. And again, I know you said it before, she's on her way to being a head coach, and she's just ticking down those boxes of what it takes to do that. And so couldn't be more proud of what she's done, and just the energy that she's brought to that team. You can see it. They've always been a really good team, but I notice a little Whit Jones special. You can see that energy with that program now.
3-1, 4-game trip. What have you learned about this team this weekend?
Well, we don't lay down. We're definitely we again, I think Chloe said it in one of her tweets, don't sleep on us, because we're never going to give up. We're feisty, we're chippy. We still have, I'm still learning matchups, but I really like how our pinch hitters have come in. I really like how our relief pitchers have come in. We've had some big time moments where we're using our lineup and our dugout, and so I'm really excited about that. I think that's what we've really learned. And I asked one of our freshmen, hey, what'd you learn today? And she said, I learned that the dugout is really fun, and it means a lot in the game. And that's what we always talk about, is the All-American dugout is going to lead us as far as we can go, along with dominant pitching and routine defenses and clutch hitting.
Another monster crowd, about close to 1,100 people here on a Saturday night. Big attendance all weekend for this tournament. Just talk about the support from the attendance and the grounds crew, who were here, I don't remember, 1:30 in the morning, got back here a few hours later and get everything set for the 9:30 game on Saturday, and the job they've done this weekend.
Yeah. Well, what's so cool about not only our grounds crew, but just our facilities, we someone behind the scenes, Kathleen Murphy, she's just done an incredible job of creating this tournament atmosphere where people want to come back, right? We have teams that are coming back year after year after year, and I think we attribute that to how we run it, right? So when I'm here, I focus on coaching, and they allow me to do that. But to get our field in the shape that it's in, our grass is beautiful, our dirt is beautiful, and even with the weather delays and all that, I mean, they're committed, and I think that speaks a ton to just the overall buy-in into what we want to do as a program. And Night Nation, I mean, everyone knows it. Night Nation is awesome. You are doing an incredible job of recognizing our women in the sport. And I encourage you to keep coming back because we love you. We'll keep doing those signatures like we've been doing, and having the teams out during national anthem and lineups, and we want that because those young ladies could be one person in our jersey in years to come. And so I love how we're really building up the sport in Central Florida.
You guys have, a few days off before you're back out on the field. What's the plan for you guys now?
Yeah, so we're the term no days off is really a thing. No, so tomorrow it's kind of unique. We're not going to play the last day of our tournament for a couple of reasons. Just to make sure that all the teams in the tournament get their games in. But for us, I think it's a good moving point to. We're going to get back in the weight room tomorrow. We're going to do some treatment and some study hall. They've got a lot of assignments coming up, and we've got big weekends. These next 2 weeks are a lot of games, and just focusing on recovering and learning that piece. We've got 10 newcomers on our team, and so a lot of people aren't used to all these midweeks and the amount of games we play. So just learning how to recover and taking care of our bodies is going to be really important. So that's the next learning step for us.
Good.
Awesome.
All right.